The Warden is the first book in a fantasy series by Daniel Ford. Alis, the warden in question, is a newly graduated wizard, specialized in necromancy, who is sent to act as the official wizard/sheriff/problem solver of the distant frontier town of Lone Pine. Being a city girl of the upper class, she is unaccustomed and a bit ill-suited for the posting, but through a series of adventures, she grows into the role. The story is fine, falling into pretty standard high fantasy conventions in its broad strokes with orcs, dwarves, elves, systematized schools of magic and the like, and I'm going to be positive at the start before I bring out my critical razor. The narrow focus of the point of view and more localized scope of the story is refreshing. There is no world-saving or existential threats. Keeping the focus mostly on one community and the people therein gives the novel a character-driven approach that is often lacking in high fantasy. The downside to this practice is that if you don't care about or like the characters, this book is going to sour for you really quickly and never recover, and I can see some readers not overcoming their irritation with Alis. Additionally, most of the world building is done along the margins of the story, so generally readers are not treated to extensive lectures and history lessons about the world. All of this is serviceable and competently executed, even if it's not amazing or innovative. Now, one of the largest issues this book faces is in what it is not. The marketing, the dust jacket to the book, and several reviews have all positioned this novel along the lines of, "It's Twin Peaks with wizards." It is not that at all. This book, more accurately, is a combination of the 90 Isles section of Ursula Le Guin's A Wizard of Earthsea, Sabriel by Garth Nix, and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Gunsmoke with orcs and wizards would also be an apt elevator pitch for The Warden. This novel lacks all the basic elements of Twin Peaks. It has none of the weirdness, subversion, or arresting dream logic of David Lynch. There is no Dale Cooper-style protagonist. There is no expansive, colorful soap opera cast of the community that the reader comes to know in part because we never see them alone. Alis is in every scene. The scope of the setting does not grow organically and convince us to care about more than a handful of characters. Also, Twin Peaks begins with a central mystery. Who killed Laura Palmer? And spreads from there. This book doesn't have a similar hook that weaves its threads into a rich tapestry. The Witcher books, structurally, have much more in common with Twin Peaks than The Warden does. I wouldn't normally spend time criticizing what a book is not, except a lot of effort has been made to cast this novel as something else. As I said before, this book is fine, and I would have been able to enjoy it more if it come to me on its own merits. As it stands, I feel like some marketer who probably never saw Twin Peaks and might not have read this book either, packaged it to try and make it seem stranger, to set it apart and appeal to a different demographic than might otherwise purchase this novel. The Warden has a few other problems all on its own. Because the first third of the novel details Alis establishing herself in her new post, it fixates on her actions without cutting away to another scene when it should. Instead, the audience is dubiously treated to a lot of scenes about cleaning and eating that should have been skipped. This problem is what the critic, author, and my one-time co-worker Peter Selgin calls dramatized routine. This is the book equivalent of unnecessary scenes in movies where we have people slowly parking cars, getting out, and then walking to their destination. This issue also means that even at 300 pages, the book is too long. In addition to the dramatized routine, the last few chapters are really a setup for the sequel and superfluous to this novel. If you don't read the last 45 pages of this book, you still have a complete story. Well, what did you think of The Warden? Or Daniel Ford's other books? Or Twin Peaks? Or whatever you've read lately? Feel free to put it in the comments. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my peculiar notions. If you enjoy this channel and want to support it, you know what to do. You should also take a moment to like and subscribe to another YouTuber you enjoy. Until next time, read some good books, live, and be well.